wondered how to best store your miniatures? Well, if you're anything like me, I have a lot of miniatures to put away properly, or else they get damaged, they get chipped, and all of that paintwork that I have done goes to waste. So today we're going to have a little look at a few different products. Now, I don't have the entire range of storage boxes out there, but I'll show you what I've got and what I've learned over the years for storing your miniatures, and what companies I think are really good and which have tried hard but just not quite made it. First up, one of my very first figure cases I ever had, and I will be honest, I cannot remember the company that did this. This one is what I now use for my D&D characters, or the main play characters that I run at a particular time. It's a nice sturdy box. It has double tray layer with room for figures, so I can store a whole stack. Normal 25mm scale figure slots with two slightly larger figures on each level. Fairly limiting, but it was a really good one for carting miniatures. And the fact that it's a sturdy box makes a big difference. There's my first port of call. If you've got a sturdy box, that's a big plus. Games Workshop. Now that was my second stomping ground for finding a figure case. The very first figure cases that I ever had were the original single level cases. These ones were fantastic for larger figures, for like I have Inquisitor models in mind. You could have cavalry models in these, which I'll show another one in a moment, great for that. But they were just a single layer egg carton style foam, really good packing case. Single level, don't have a lot of miniature capacity, but they were really handy, good handle, just many years old, so they are starting to get a little bit worn. Now we come to the next GW case, which was their double case. Essentially the same as the single, but double layer. Nice. What can you fit in one of these? I have cavalry in this. Cavalry are hard to store, I find, and I think these cases were absolutely fantastic in that. Unfortunately, they have discontinued them, but if you ever find these at a buy, swap and sell or a second-hand store, grab them, because they're absolute gold. Now you can fit, I think I've got around 30 cavalry in this box, plus artillery and the artillery crew, all the bits and pieces, the paraphernalia that go with those artillery crew. So that's a fair bit in this. A great way to store those cavalry models, the ones that are a bit harder to store in a standard figure case. So that was Games Workshop version 2. Version 3, they got a bit more sturdy. Again, this was I think their third generation figure case. If I'm wrong, I apologize. This was the absolute workhorse of Games Workshop figure cases for many years. But wait, you're not seeing the standard red foam. I wonder why. That was something that I found really frustrating with the GW inserts. 9x4. 9x4. Most of the times when you were storing figures, they were 10-man or multiples of 10 units. 9. This is actually an insert from a company which I'll talk about in a moment, called KR Multicase. This is a 10x4. They made inserts that would actually fit into GW cases. Brilliant, love it. Now, this is my Dwarves one, so guess what? Dwarves, they're nice and small, so I've got 2 in each. Suddenly, it's 20x4. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that was a great way to fit these. Now, I don't have a lot of Dwarves left in this, because I have transferred them into a different box, which I'll show you in a moment. The problem with the GW Workhorse was the clips. These would break. They were fairly flimsy, tiny little piece of plastic holding them together, and they would just break. So that was a design flaw of this, which I don't know if they've fixed or not, because I haven't actually bought a GW figure case in many years. You'll see why in a moment. But anyway, so that's the third generation GW case. I have a couple of these, and they're essentially 2 of those third generation cases. They were a really fantastic invention at that point. But at $160 a pop, this is my Blood Angel third company case. So essentially, I have enough in here to do my entire third company, including full support, including dreadnoughts. On this side, I've got scouts and I've got objective markers. I've got bikes, and down the bottom is what I've done. I've cut holes and things like that so that I can put in a layer of tanks. There are 100 Marines in here, plus dreadnought, plus character figures, plus bike squads, plus tanks, plus this, that, and the other. You name it, I've tried to fit it in there. Entire third company. And this is probably one of the most used armies that I have. So having this army stored well is absolutely paramount for me, because they need to be able to travel. Double cases, but they were $160 a pop. I've got another one which is actually for my Empire army for fantasy, and again, this was one of the main fantasy armies that I would take around. And one of the things that they did in the fantasy box, they had the large plug and play. I won't pull out all of the foam, but you could actually pull it apart and fit exactly what you want in those. So I've got things like my Hippogriff riders are in there. Odd shaped models, but there's room for fitting them in. That's great. Rows and rows and rows of infantry troops. I don't know, I don't even know exactly how many troops I've put in here, but there's stacks of them because I've tried to double them up at times. Spearmen can often fold over. You can fit more in the row than what is actually normally allowed. So again, there we go, double case G-Dub. This was really good. And then all of the movement trays were all in the top. Everything all in one. Off you go to a tournament, job done. Another thing that you can do is use just plain storage tubs. I actually have several different ways of storing them. First of all, when you're building, storing all of the bits and pieces as you are going. So if I want to go and, I want to build that one today, so there it is. I can go and take out that model and build that. Great. Storage tubs, Bunnings or any sort of hardware store or storage shop, you could find storage tubs like these very, very cheap. $2 shops have absolute mountains of these storage tubs. I would counsel against getting particularly cheap because you do get what you pay for. We have gone through so many lids at the Games Club because of stacking the terrain up, and the lids just can't take take the weight on top, so they break. We've upgraded to, instead of getting like $10 tubs, we get $30 tubs, and we've actually saved money because we don't have to replace them anywhere near as often. Next, in terms of armies, this as an entire fleet for Firestorm Armada. At the time when I was playing this one, there wasn't really figure cases that were designed to take Firestorm Armada. I'm pretty sure that there are now, or there are things that I could find that I could use for it. But in this, I have all of my rules, my templates, counters, everything, and I just use bubble wrap. I've got all of my flying stands with the little inserts that I made for them. And then I leave all the ships still in their original little bubble wrap packaging because it keeps them safe. There we go, I've got my entire fleet in one box, ready to go. That's fantastic. Oh, dice. You don't need to go buy bubble wrap or do things like that. Oftentimes you get sent something in the mail. If you've made an order for miniatures or whatever, you often find that you get bits of bubble wrap. Keep them. Yes, I'm a little bit of a hoarder, but that bubble wrap, I've got a box labeled bubble wrap. I've got a box labeled, you know, the styrofoam inserts. They get used in packaging, either for miniatures or for terrain, because I'm not going to go buy it. I get given it in packaging. Why do I want to buy it? Don't. Store it, use it, recycle it. Storage tubs. Great idea, simple, compact, they stack really easily. Now on the slightly ad hoc sort of storage containers, not what you're thinking. These are my D&D monsters. Well, sorry, these are some of my D&D monsters. In here, I actually have the old inserts from my GW cases, and that's where I put my layers and layers and layers of D&D characters, D&D monsters. So there is, you know, layers for undead, layers for beholders. Yes, I have a layer for beholders. I have layers for ogres, layers for lizard men, layers for this, that, and the other. You know what? You can just keep going down in this box and find more and more monsters. Oh look, beholders. In swapping over the inserts from the GW cases, I was not going to be throwing these away. They're still decent foam. So, ad hoc box, inserts in there, they fit beautifully. So that's the first box of D&D monsters. It's not the only one. Anyway, I have too many monsters. No, I don't. Stupid thing to say, too many monsters. No. I love my recycling, so if I've finished this, might as well use the box. Yep, I don't need to buy a box. I've got a box. Use the box. Recycle the box. There are a number of companies that do bespoke cases for particular games. You can buy inserts to a huge range of board games, and that's a fantastic thing. So when you've got all of these figures for a board game like Zombicide, or you've got X-Wing, and the figures that need to go with that, Imperial Assault, the number of figures in those, storing them properly is a really important thing, particularly if you go through the point of painting all of the figures up. You want to be able to store it properly. You want to make sure that you can track where everything is, be able to find things quickly. A company called Feldherr. The company called Feldherr, they're based in Germany. Fantastic range of figure cases. These are ones that I've only found recently, and I am actually very impressed with them. Okay, here's my box of Space Hulk. Anybody who missed out on getting this box, oh, I pity you. Anyway, Space Hulk, and anyone who doesn't know it knows that there is a huge number of pieces in it, and you want to take care of them. All of this, they even have a little insert as to how to pack it. So good. Cover, and then on the inside, they've got spaces for every model. Now, I have not gone through and done it. I've got, even in here, I've still got my resin base, the resin cut bases that I bought to paint up all of my Space Hulk stuff. I will get to it eventually, I hope. Inserts in there to then store all of the cases, like cardboard inserts for storing all of the pieces nice and neat. And then everything just sits nicely. It doesn't get broken, miniatures don't get crushed inside. It is a really, really good system for all of that. And I think unless the game has been out for only a couple of weeks, Feldherr pretty much has every game covered well, virtually every game that we have in the Games Club. And we do have a substantive collection of board games. Not anywhere near as many as a friend of mine. Oh, his games room is glorious. So there's one of their bespoke cases for a board game, but what they've also got, cardboard carry case. This is not bad. This is the first one that I got for Warhammer Underworlds. So in that, they've got the space for the miniatures, they've got the space for the cards, space for dice counters, what have you. These are the ones that I don't really play as much, so that's why I've transferred them into the cardboard box. They have individual boxes for each one. You can have just a simple magnetic lock box for individual warbands within Warhammer Underworlds. My two kids both have their own little magnetic box for their warband. Great. They don't have to keep their miniatures in my box. They can keep theirs in their own individual box. Love that idea. Didn't love the cardboard or the handle. That handle was a nightmare. It's always getting caught. It's hard to open the box. That was the one thing which I really did not like about these. And the cardboard, I'm not a fan of the cardboard box, which you'll be very surprised at when we talk about the last set. But the cardboard box, I worry about it degrading. Anyway, they obviously got some feedback about cardboard boxes, not from me, but obviously from others, and they have upgraded. This little carry case here is glorious. So many pockets. I love pockets. There is room to put your rule books. There is room to put your boards. This is still Warhammer Underworlds, okay? I'm still on Warhammer Underworlds. All the boards and what have you in here. And then room to put, I've got 8 warbands in here. So there we go again. The simple little bespoke tile, bespoke tray, which you can just interchange. Feld here do have a number of other figure cases as well. They are very cool. I would thoroughly recommend checking them out. I'll put their link in the description. Feld here in Germany, really like them. Now we come to my favorite. Why are these my favorite? Versatility. I've been talking about sturdy boxes, carry cases that you can transport easily. These guys do the majority of that in a number of different ways. Right, so I've just put a couple of things here. I have so many of these cardboard boxes. Do you remember I said I didn't particularly like cardboard boxes? It turned me off this company for quite a while, until I saw my mate Dale. He had one of these. I was completely blown away by it. I brought the prejudice of cardboard, thinking cardboard for a figure case. Why? That's just going to fall apart. It gets wet, it's just going to crumble. Well, you know what? This is an insert. This isn't the be-all, end-all. You can just use it as is. Handle, all good to go. And I mean, and I have gone through and labeled all of mine. They are simple cardboard boxes, and that's great. But you know what? Bespoke innards. Okay, I can order exactly the insert that I want. That's something that I really particularly like. I can get oddly shaped pieces to fit. That's a really, really big thing. And I mean, this one's a Grey Knight, Stormraven, Dreadnoughts, Flying Stands. I've still got figures in here. That's one box. You don't have to get ones that have inserts like that. You can get standard trays. You've already seen me show them in the Dwarf box I had before, in the Games Workshop box. They are the ones who designed the inserts for a standard Games Workshop case. This company is KR Multicase, old GW case. Remove the inserts, and I have put layer upon layer of inserts in here for my DBA armies. Those of you who like historicals, that's these. So I can put trays of 15mm figures in here. 10x4, 4 trays where you used to put 3 trays of 9x4. Now I've got 4 trays of 10x4. That's a lot of models. I think I've got 8 DBA armies in here, 9 DBA armies. Entire game system all in one. That is amazing to be able to do that. And yeah, I do a lot of my own laser cutting. So there's one thing. So the box inserts, why are they good? Well, they go in these. This backpack is, if I need to go to a tournament these days, this is more likely what I'm going to take. This backpack has 2 of those inserts in it. I can also zip it down. In the front, I could put jacket or what have you that can hold there. I can put templates down the front or dice. I think in this one I've got a rule book. Look at that, War Machine. Hey, oh, good old War Machine. Great for being able to put your rule books in there. That's always a feature that I love. There are side pockets, which, yep, I've got dice, and I've got a little bottle of water, I'll tell you why in a moment, and a tape measure. One army box in here, oh, that has Circle of Orboros in it. So I've just taken one out there. There's still one in there. That's my Menoth army. I can close all of this up. All right. There you go. So now I have one army in there. I've still got my books, and there that is. Pretty cool. Well, one of our club boys did. Needed a new school bag. Bought that. So on Friday afternoons, he opens it out to the double side, puts his figure case in the back, and all of his school books and things in the front. Wow, doesn't need 2 school bags, just has one. That was actually a really, really clever solution. I really took my hat off to him. Do they have just the backpack? No, they don't. No, they don't. You can do a standard carry case, 2 boxes. You can do a single carry case, shoulder strap. You can do a triple case, a quadruple case. They've even got a great big aluminium case where I think you can put 8 boxes in. When you want to go out for that massive apocalypse game, there's your carry case right there. You can do the entire army in one. Remember the bottle of water? What I will often do, I will take that with a tray or a box of miniatures and my most used figure case ever. This is my paint tray, and I'll put that in that box. I might take a small figure case with some extra things to paint, or I might just take that. And I've got a little bottle of water there. That's my painting water. Then when I go out, just put that into my paint pot. That's what I do. These little cases, also from KR Multicase. No, I'll show you this one first. This is my favorite case of everything. Take this everywhere. This is not all my paints. This is my travel paints. So I have enough in there, all colors, paint pot, paints. It'll fit dropper bottles, it'll fit G-Dub standard paint pots, it'll fit the large G-Dub paints. I've got paint brushes galore in there. I generally always leave one slot free for a mini. That might be the figure that I'm working on at the time, so I'll put that in there. Got my travel case of paints, and I take that. In the top, I put some newspaper and some plastic to put the paint on. Plastic doesn't absorb, I'm good to go. There's my most used, most beloved figure case of all. Same thing, what can you do? Well, they have so many different styles of trays. This one, you know, you can fit a whole stack of miniatures in those, and they have all different sizes, all different layouts. You can mix and match what you're doing with that. What's the point of all of this? Store your miniatures well. because if you don't, and you try to carry them around in like a shoebox, you're going to regret it. I have seen too many kids come in through the club room door and bump into something and their tray of miniatures go all over the place, and they spend the next 10 minutes picking up and gluing things back together. Don't do that. Don't do that. Store your miniatures properly. It is one of the best investments you will do, because it will save you having to replace stuff that keeps getting broken. It will save you time so that you don't have to keep repainting stuff that gets completely destroyed just cluttering about altogether. In summary, I would strongly urge you, get yourself a figure case to store your figures. You can find a huge range out there. I'll try and list a few of the different sites in the description. Definitely I'll have things like the KR Multicase, the Feldherr, they'll both be in there. For value for money, I think going somewhere like KR Multicase, where they are so interchangeable, Feldherr, where you can get all of the bits and pieces for your board games, for your miniatures, for everything. That's really cool. Essentially, whatever company that you like or that you think works for you, go with that. But just store your minis. And not only that, get them painted. Paint your minis, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe so that you never miss another video, and make sure that notification bell is turned on. Don't forget you can also follow me on Instagram at TechAdeptCrafts. You can also support the channel at Patreon, that is www.patreon.com/techadeptcrafts, and we'd love to see you join us over there. There will be live streams, there will be chat discussions, there'll be extra painting techniques talked about over there, as well as other content creator videos that will be exclusive to Patreon. Love to see you over there if you would like to come and join us. So until next time, keep hobbying. Cheers.